Team Fortress 2 has plenty of weapons that are either loved or hated, but some fall into an entirely different category, forgotten. While some guns are ignored for a good reason, others simply never get the chance to shine, whether it's because they don't fit the standard meta or they require a different approach than most players are used to. These weapons end up being dismissed without a second thought. But just because something isn't popular doesn't mean it isn't powerful. This brings us to today's topic, the backscatter. A weapon that on the surface seems like it should be an obvious choice for aggressive scout players, yet barely anyone touches it. Is it just a gimmick, or is there something more to this shotgun that people are missing? Let's break it down. The backscatter is built around one thing, rewarding scouts who can catch enemies off guard. Its unique trait is that it gives guaranteed mini-crits when shooting enemies from behind. This boosts its damage beyond that of which a stock scattergun can manage. In the right situation, this can melt opponents before they even have a chance to react, with the main benefit being that it allows for a one-shot kill to light classes. This makes the backscatter a natural fit for ambush playstyles. If you can flank well and get behind enemies before opening fire, you'll be putting out damage numbers and dropping out key targets before they can fight back. But of course, this all does come with a catch. In exchange for its mini crits from behind, it comes with two major drawbacks, a reduced clip size and increased bullet spread. Instead of the usual 6 shots, you only get 4, meaning you need to make every shot count. Missing a few and you'll end up reloading in the worst possible time, something no scout ever wants. Then there's the 20% less accurate stat. Unlike the scattergun, which offers reliable close-range damage, the backscatter's wider spread makes it less effective beyond point-blank range. This means that if you aren't directly behind someone when you shoot, you're not only missing out on mini-crits, but you're also just doing worse damage overall. Instead of being a high-risk, high-reward weapon, it can sometimes feel like a high-risk with low reward. With these downsides in mind, it's easy to see why most scouts don't bother with the backscatter. The stock scattergun is already one of the best weapons in the game, offering reliable damage with no gimmick holding it back. The moment you equip the backscatter, you're sacrificing consistency for a situational bonus that only works under specific circumstances. And if you aren't consistently getting behind people, you're left with a strictly worse version of the weapon you started with. While it's true that the backscatter has major trade-offs, dismissing it outright is a mistake. The idea that it is a worse scattergun ignores the fact that it plays into a different mindset, one that rewards careful positioning and aggressive flanking. It's not meant to be used like stock, and that's exactly why people are struggling with it. A 20% wider pellet spread sounds like a huge drawback, but in practice it rarely affects the weapon's intended use. The backscatter is designed to be fired at point-blank range from behind, where spread doesn't matter as much, because every pellet is hitting anyway. If you're using it correctly, getting in close and securing the mini-crits, and then repositioning, the wider spread is hardly noticeable. The real issue isn't the stat itself, but the way people try to use the weapon like a stock scattergun and expect the same results. The only time the spread actually becomes an issue is at medium ranges. Where the stock scattergun might hit 2 or 3 pellets, the backscatter may struggle to hit more than 1. But here's the thing, if your target is running away from you, you're likely to be hitting their back, which means you'll be dealing mini-crits. This not only removes damage falled off, but also boosts your damage with those mini-crits itself, and this increased damage will allow you to make up for the greater spread. The real downside which holds the backscatter back isn't the spread, it's the reduced clip size. Mini-crits might sound strong, but they're not a massive damage boost, meaning you'll still need 2 shots to kill most classes. The exception to this is light classes like Sniper, Engineer, Spy and other scouts, since the backscatter's max damage is about 140, just enough to one-shot them. However, what these mini-crits actually do well is making 2-shotting bulkier classes far more consistent. With stock, dropping a soldier or even a demi-man in just 2 shots isn't common. You'll usually need 3 and sometimes even 4. With the backscatter, landing these mini-crit backshots lets you take them down much faster, reducing the time they have to react, and this makes it a fantastic tool for quickly deleting key targets and then escaping before anyone else realizes what happened. To get the most out of the backscatter, you need to play around its strength, ambushing enemies and striking before they even realize you're there. Unlike stock, which lets you take fights from any angle, the backscatter forces you into a hit-and-run playstyle. Your goal isn't to brawl out with enemies, it's to flank, pick off a key target, and escape before the fight even begins. Since the backscatter relies on flanking so much, pairing it with the right secondaries and melee can make a huge difference. The best way to get behind enemies is to take unexpected routes, and that's where mobility tools come in. The winger, for example, has its increased jump height stat, which allows you to reach areas most scouts can't, or reach them quicker than others, giving you more opportunities to set up deadly ambushes. A simple jump can turn into a surprise attack from above, letting you drop in and delete enemies before they turn around.
The atomizer takes this to the next level by giving you a third jump. This extra mobility makes it even easier to reposition, dodge shots, and make escapes after securing a kill. If a fight goes south, that extra jump can be the difference between getting away safely or getting caught out in the open. Since the backscatter isn't great in direct fights, having more movement options helps you avoid those situations entirely, keeping you in control of when and where fights begin. Now, if these two options are not working out for you, may I suggest using the Bonk Atomic Punch. While mobility tools like the Winger and Atomizer help you to create flank routes, Bonk takes a more direct approach, letting you run straight past enemies without taking damage. If a choke point is too well guarded or a sentry is blocking your path, just pop the Bonk and run through, and set up behind enemy lines without a scratch. This makes it one of the safest ways to position yourself for a backscatter ambush. Instead of risking a fight on the way in, you can focus entirely on getting where you need to be. Once your Bonk effect wears off, you're already behind the enemies, ready to take them down before they even realize what happened. And if things go wrong, you can pop the Bonk Atomic Punch again and head out of there using the invulnerability. The Bonk turns the backscatter from a situational ambush tool to a consistent and reliable threat, one that your enemies will struggle to stop. The backscatter may not be the most popular scattergun, but that does not mean it is useless. Its stats push you into a different playstyle, one that relies on smart positioning and surprise attacks. While it lacks the versatility of stock, it makes up for it by rewarding aggressive flanking and consistent high damage ambushes. If this is a playstyle which just might appeal to you, why don't you give it a chance? Now's the time, because once you get the hang of it, you might just wonder why you ever doubted it in the first place. Did I get anything wrong? Disagree with my opinions? Think I missed something? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video or found it interesting, consider giving it a like, sharing it, and possibly even subscribing. And thank you for getting to the end.